second one was, in the end, so easy. The nominations came from different directions, and they were eloquent in the dedication and work of Eric Hirsch. I will say that one of the nominators was Kathy Clasper-Torch, a musician, and I asked her to speak some words. Oh, and they're both going to do it. She tried to pawn it off on Lee, but evidently they've worked it out between them, which is really nice. So Lee and Kathy Clasper-Torch, if you would sing.
Actually, I hadn't heard that story that she tried to pawn it off on me.
Maybe we should have Eric come up here and stand now so he can be embarrassed.
This is Eric Hirsch. Kathy and I are so incredibly privileged to be here and to be asked to share a few words about Eric, who is a very close and dear friend, and quite nearly 24 years, probably. Member of the Hood that we were together in for many years, and a lot of good history and personal connection to Eric. And I just want to say real quickly just now that it feels to me like Eric is an epitome of what Richard Walton stood for, and I just want to invoke again Richard's name and say presente for Richard. Maybe if I say Richard Walton, why don't we say presente? Richard Walton. He is here with us. We're so grateful and honored to be able to share a few words about Eric.
For me, it was a no-brainer just when we had to think of who would this award go to this year. Eric came to mind immediately. He's probably the most humble person I know, and the work he's doing is the most important work I know. He's known throughout the country for his work keeping statistics and things, right, on homeless populations. And I don't even know all of what he does, but I know he's well known in his field, and we are so lucky to have him doing the work with Rhode Island Coalition for the Homeless. He's a professor. But personally, the past few years has been really touching. We brought Eric into our church, Central Congregational. The youth do a homeless awareness sleep out every year in January, so they can feel just how crappy it feels to be homeless, especially in the wintertime. And Eric comes the week before and talks about homeless issues. And I've never seen the kids so engaged. And Eric just treats everyone like they're just these amazingly intelligent human beings who can understand the issues, and the kids absorb it like sponges. And I feel like the moments when he comes and talks to us, I just feel this sense of hope, like the kids get it, Eric gets it, and if we can't solve the homeless situation in this little state, where can you solve it? And so Eric is a bright light of hope to all of us.
I wanted to say the other way in which Eric epitomizes and is so perfect for this honor is that Eric is a public intellectual, really, a professor of sociology at Providence College, but someone who enacts the action reflection model and embodies that. And I would second what Kath said about Eric's humility in doing so. We are so grateful for Eric's work in this world and in this state, so thank you, Eric.
Need to work on my Vanna White thing. The Red Bandana Award 2015 is presented to Eric Hirsch for his lifelong commitment to bettering the lives of the poor and homeless in Rhode Island. Eric's life and work is a reminder to all of us of the importance of both thought and action in the streets, in the classroom, and in the halls of power. We are grateful to Eric for his years of dedication to giving all of us, no matter our station, a voice in making a just world.
Well, thanks very much, particularly to Alan and Kathy for the nomination. Certainly the committee for voting for me. I really appreciate that. My family for being here. And I've got a couple of stories to tell on Richard.
We all do.
No rebuttal.
So, when I first got here, I started working with the Right to Housing Coalition. And actually, where did Phil go? Yeah, so Phil and I were both working in the Right to Housing Coalition. In fact, I bet you remember that night, Phil, when we were sleeping outside the federal building for more money for affordable housing around Martin Luther King Day. It was like 10 degrees. We're with all these formerly homeless people. They all went right to sleep. And Phil and I are like, what the hell? I had like, you know, multiple down layers on and this incredibly warm sleeping bag. They all just had some blankets. They were all sound asleep. And Phil and I were up the whole night. So he just doesn't just play accordion and whistle. You know, Phil's been active for a long time. This is one other action too. So this was a time of the first President Bush, George H.W. Bush. Right, that's how we felt too. So we did a couple of actions around that, and one of them was actually someone dressed up as George Bush. We went to their campaign headquarters in Rhode Island, and my wife Diane had a big broom and swept him out of office. So the third one involves Richard. So we decided a good idea would be to walk from Rhode Island and Massachusetts all the way to Kennebunkport, where he had this luxurious mansion built out on the water. And then have a rally where homeless people would testify to the fact that they didn't have even one home, right? And this, he's got, you know, multiple homes. And so Richard was one of the people who decided he should do this walk, but he couldn't really do the whole thing. I mean, it took a long time. In fact, Ray Ross was the only person who walked the whole way. I mean, anyone remember Ray? A few of you. So Richard started the walk, and then I drove out and picked him up. Because I think he had to teach, you know, he couldn't do the whole walk. But he was so mad at himself about that when in 2006 we decided to do a walk across the state to fund housing, he walked every single mile, 57 miles. I'm not sure I don't know that there was anyone else who walked every single mile. He turned 78 on the march.
Wow.
So
That's Richard.
that was Richard, and you know, I'm very honored to get this. I mean, really, I said this
You mean you turned 75, part 4?
That's right, 75. Good point, thank you. So thanks a lot for this award, and I want to talk about what I'm up to now. I'm not going to neglect that and miss that opportunity. So we're working on something called Zero 2016. 2014 is to end veterans homelessness by the end of 2015 and to end chronic homelessness by the end of 2016. I've been working on this for a long time, and we can do that. We absolutely can do it. We set the targets. You know, go to our website, rihomeless.org, right, Leanne?
Yes.
And you can endorse the campaign, and you can see the targets. Really, it's about everyone deciding that it's possible to do, and then it will happen. And so hopefully everyone in this room is with us on this, and I think if we all believe in it, it can definitely happen. One final word. And this really was, honestly was, an amazing coincidence. We recently had a rally at Providence College to try to end racial profiling there. And we also got involved with Renaissance Hotel campaign, and we had them over to PC just a few weeks ago. So I think it all worked out perfectly. And certainly are going to keep working to make that boycott happen. So thank you for your work.
Couple more things briefly, and then you can talk to each other. Just to clear up, so the Red Bandana Fund, we have raised some money over the years, and it took us a long time to figure out what we were supposed to do, because we were not very organized. But we do want you to know that a check for $500 is going to each organization that the people are associated with. The money that's raised today, 50% of it is going to make sure that we're around for next year and the year after. And the other 25% is going to each of the two, I guess the coalition, wherever you can, and to support the workers. So that's what that money's going for, okay? Is there anything else I suppose we've got? It's gonna get wild in here in a little bit. I have always believed that it's possible to organize anarchy, and you are about to witness it, all right? Is there anything else I need to say? All right? Ben, have fun. Thank you so much for coming. Extraordinary